The glass doors of the Harper family's sleek Palo Alto mansion slide open, and I, Amelia Harper, step into the lion's den. The air hums with the buzz of wealth. Crystal chandeliers glint above marble floors, echo under my worn sneakers, and the faint clink of champagne glasses carries from the conference room. My family, the Harper's tech royalty of Silicon Valley, are already gathered their designer suits and Rolex watches, screaming success. I clutch my battered iPad, its cracked screen, hiding a secret that could shatter their smug world. My heart pounds, but I keep my face calm, unreadable. Claire Morgan. My cousin spots me first. Her lips curl into that familiar cutting smirk. Amelia, still driving that rusty Honda Accord, when are you gonna grow up and join the real world? Her voice drips with condescension, and a few chuckles ripple through the room. Nathan Brooks, another cousin, leans back in his chair, his custom smartwatch flashing as he adds, "What's it been 10 years? Still freelancing in some coffee shop, right?" Their eyes, sharp as knives, slice through me, pinning me as the family failure, the odd one out in a dynasty of tech giants. I slide into a seat, the iPad warm against my palms. They don't know what's coming. They don't know that I've built something bigger than their bloated egos could ever dream. My fingers brush the screen where files about NovaBio, my company worth $250 million, wait to be unleashed. Every jab, every sneer they've thrown at me over the years burns in my chest, but I swallow it down. Not yet. Not until the perfect moment. Edward Harper. My uncle and the family patriarch stands at the head of the table, his voice booming about HarperTech's next big IPO. He doesn't even glance my way. To him, I'm invisible, a nobody. But invisibility has been my weapon. While they flaunted their wealth, I worked in the shadows building an empire they can't touch. The room pulses with their arrogance, but I feel a spark of something else, anticipation. They think they know me. They think I'm the poor cousin scraping by. But what will they do when I flip their world upside down? I lean forward, meeting Claire's mocking gaze. "Keep laughing," I think, my pulse racing. "You're about to choke on your own words. This isn't just a family meeting. It's a reckoning. And I'm ready to show them who I really am. So tell me, have you ever been underestimated, written off by people who thought they had you figured out? Drop your story in the comments and stick with me to see how I turn the tables on a family that's about to learn the hard way. Never judge a book by its cover." I'm Amelia Harper, 34 years old, standing in the heart of Silicon Valley's glittering chaos, feeling like a stranger in my own family's world. The Harper Family Conference is in full swing at my uncle's Palo Alto mansion, a sprawling fortress of glass and steel that screams money. My cousins Claire Morgan and Nathan Brooks strut around like tech royalty, their smartwatches flashing their voices loud with talk of IPOs and venture capital. Me, I'm the odd one out, the so-called failure in a faded blazer and scuffed sneakers, clutching a cracked iPad that holds a secret they'd never suspect. To them, I'm just the poor cousin scraping by on freelance gigs driving a beat-up Honda Accord, while they cruise in Teslas and Porsches. But what they don't know, what they can't know, is that I've built an empire in the shadows, one that dwarfs their shiny toys. The Harpers are legends in Silicon Valley. My grandmother, Margaret Harper, started HarperTech in the 80s, back when computers were clunky and the internet was a dream. She wasn't about flash. She believed tech could change lives, not just bank accounts. Grandma Margaret raised me after my parents died in a car crash when I was 16. Those years in her modest San Jose bungalow shaped me. Late at night, she'd sit me down with a cup of tea and a stack of biotech journals, teaching me about CRISPR gene editing and the power of patient investing. Amelia, she'd say, her eyes sharp, real success isn't about showing off. It's about building something that lasts, something that matters. I soaked up every word, even as my cousins were handed sports cars and Ivy League degrees. When Grandma passed, she left each grandchild a small inheritance. My cousins blew theirs on startups that fizzled or penthouses in San Francisco. I was different. I took her lessons to heart, living simply in a one-bedroom apartment, pouring every cent into a dream she'd inspired. NovaBio, a biotech startup I founded under layers of anonymous LLCs. Nobody knows I'm behind it. Not Claire, not Nathan, not even my Uncle Edward, who runs HarperTech like his personal kingdom. NovaBio's tech, built on cutting-edge gene therapies, is worth $250 million today. And all the proof is right here in the files on my iPad, waiting for the right moment to turn their world upside down. This conference is their stage, a 3-day circus where they flaunt their wealth and connections. Claire will brag about her AI startup investments, Nathan will drone on about blockchain, and Edward will lecture about maintaining the Harper legacy. They'll look at me with pity, maybe toss a few barbs about my sad little life. I've heard it all before, Amelia still freelancing. Why not get a real job at Google, or that Honda's older than my dog? Each jab stings, but I've learned to let it roll off. They think they're untouchable, perched on their thrones of stock options and social clout. But they're wrong. I smooth my blazer, feeling the weight of Grandma's lessons in my bones. She taught me to play the long game, to let others underestimate me while I built something unstoppable. As I step toward the conference room, the hum of their voices grows louder, a chorus of arrogance. My fingers graze the iPad, my secret weapon. They've spent years writing me off, but I'm not here to beg for their respect. I'm here to show them what real power looks like. What would you do if the people who doubted you most were about to learn the truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's see how this unfolds together. The Palo Alto mansion buzzes with the kind of energy only money can buy. Floor-to-ceiling windows frame the Silicon Valley skyline, a glittering reminder of the stakes in this room. The Harper Family Conference Day 1 is a parade of egos, and I, Amelia Harper, sit quietly at the edge of it, all my cracked iPad resting on my lap like a ticking bomb. My cousins Claire Morgan and Nathan Brooks hold court with their polished pitches about AI startups and blockchain deals, their voices sharp with the confidence of people who've never known failure. My Uncle Edward Harper presides over the table, his tailored suit crisp, his gaze sweeping past me like I'm not even here. To them, I'm the family ghost, 34 frumpy driving a beat-up Honda Accord, scraping by on freelance tech gigs. They don't see the fire in me, the one my grandmother Margaret Harper kindled years ago. But they will. The Harpers are Silicon Valley royalty, and it all started with Grandma Margaret. Back in the 80s, she turned a small software patent into HarperTech, a company that powered the early internet. She wasn't like the tech bros of today, chasing headlines and stock tickers. Grandma believed in tech for good tools to solve real problems, not just pad bank accounts. I was 16 when my parents died in a car crash, and she took me in, raising me in her modest San Jose bungalow. While my cousins got sports cars for their birthdays, I got late-night lessons at her kitchen table. She'd spread out biotech journals pointing to articles on CRISPR and gene editing. "This is the future, Amelia," she'd say, her voice steady. "But it's not about flash. It's about patience, about building something that outlasts you." Those words stuck, shaping every choice I've made since. Now as Edward kicks off the conference, his voice booms with plans for HarperTech's next big IPO. "Our legacy is about dominance," he declares, clicking through slides of revenue charts and market shares. Claire jumps in, bragging about her latest AI startup investment, some overhyped chatbot that's already burning cash. "It's a game changer," she says, tossing her highlighted hair, then glances at me with a smirk. "Not that you'd know, Amelia, still debugging code in coffee shops." The room chuckles and my cheeks burn, but I keep my face neutral. Nathan piles on, flashing his custom smartwatch. "What's your big project these days?" "Amelia, a website for cat memes, more laughs." I grip my iPad tighter. The files on NovaBio, my biotech startup worth $250 million, screaming to be unleashed. But I hold back. Timing is everything. Edward shifts gears, his tone turning serious. "We need to talk about the old HarperTech headquarters," he says, pulling up a photo of the iconic building. Grandma designed a low, elegant structure with redwood beams and solar panels, a symbol of her vision. It's sitting on prime real estate valued at $60 million. I propose we sell it, tear it down, and build a state-of-the-art AI research center. My stomach twists. That building is more than bricks and mortar. It's Grandma's heart, her belief in tech for progress, not profit. I raise my hand, my voice steady despite the nerves. That headquarters is a piece of our history. Grandma built it to inspire, not to be flipped for cash. Can't we preserve it, maybe turn it into a public tech hub? The room goes quiet, but not the good kind. Edward's smile is thin, patronizing. Amelia's sentimentality doesn't pay dividends. You wouldn't understand market value, would you? Claire snickers, leaning toward Nathan. She's probably never seen a balance sheet. Nathan nods, his eyes cold. Stick to your freelance gigs, Amelia. Leave the real decisions to us. The dismissal stings sharp and familiar, but I swallow it. They don't know I've spent years building NovaBio, buying undervalued patents, securing hospital contracts, all under layers of anonymous LLCs. They don't know I'm playing their game better than they ever could. As the meeting breaks for lunch, I slip out to the mansion's garden, the scent of jasmine heavy in the air. Grandma's lessons echo in my mind. Let them underestimate you, Amelia. It's your greatest advantage. I trace my finger over the iPad, the weight of my secret grounding me. They think they're untouchable, but I've been building something they can't ignore. Out here alone, I feel the spark of what's coming. They've spent years laughing at me, but I'm not the punchline anymore. I'm the one holding the pen. And this story's about to take a turn they'll never see coming. The second day of the Harper family conference dawns sharp and bright, the Palo Alto mansion's glass walls reflecting Silicon Valley's relentless ambition. I, Amelia Harper, sit at the edge of the polished conference table, my cracked iPad, a quiet rebellion against the sea of sleek laptops and smartwatches around me. The air crackles with my family's self-assured chatter, Claire Morgan's clipped boasts about her AI startup, Nathan Brooks's smug updates on his blockchain ventures, and Uncle Edward Harper's commanding presence, orchestrating it all like a king on his throne. Their eyes slide over me, 34 and unremarkable in my faded blazer, as if I'm just background noise. But inside I'm a coiled spring, every jab they throw fueling the fire I've kept hidden for years. Edward stands, his voice cutting through the room. Let's finalize the sale of the old HarperTech headquarters, he says, clicking to a slide of a gleaming AI research center, all steel and neon, set to replace Grandma Margaret's iconic building. The developers are offering $65 million and construction starts next quarter. My chest tightens. That headquarters isn't just real estate, it's Grandma's soul, her vision of tech for good. I try to speak, my hand half raised. What if we kept it as a community tech center? It could honor Grandma's legacy. Nathan cuts me off, his smirk sharp. Amelia, you don't have the shares to weigh in. Save your breath for your... What freelance coding gigs? Claire laughs loud and cruel. Maybe she's pitching a tech museum for her ancient Honda Accord. The room erupts, and I bite my lip, the sting of their mockery familiar but no less raw. Then Edward drops a bomb. On another note, he says, his eyes glinting, there's a biotech startup, NovaBio, making waves in gene editing. It's a threat to HarperTech's market share. I've got connections at the regulatory board. Let's just say we can make their approvals difficult, force a sale cheap. My heart stops. NovaBio is my company, built in secret with Grandma's lessons, worth $250 million. They're plotting to destroy me, and they don't even know it. I keep my face blank, but my mind races. I need to act, and fast. As Edward drones on, I slip my phone under the table, texting James Patel, my lawyer. They're targeting NovaBio. Prep the defense files. Tomorrow's the day. His reply is instant. Got it. You're ready. The tension spikes when Nathan leans across the table, his voice low and cutting. Oh, Amelia saw my new girlfriend's latest post. She's speaking at TechCrunch Disrupt. You'd like her, but, well, you're not exactly in her league. His words hit like a slap, dragging up old wounds. Years ago, I cared for Nathan, thought we had something. He brushed me off, said I wasn't ambitious enough for him. Now he's rubbing his influencer girlfriend in my face, his eyes daring me to flinch. I don't. Instead, I think of NovaBio, of the hospital contracts I've secured, the lives my tech will save. Good for her, I say, my voice steady. I'm happy with my own path. He scoffs, turning away, but the hurt lingers, sharpening my resolve. Later, as the meeting adjourns, Sophie Ellis, my cousin, and the only Harper with a shred of decency, pulls me aside in the mansion's hallway. Her cashmere sweater and diamond studs scream wealth, but her eyes are kind. "Amelia Edwards serious about that headquarters sale," she whispers. "And this NovaBio thing, he's pulling strings to crush them. You need to fight for Grandma's legacy." I nod, grateful for her support. "I will, Sophie. Trust me." She squeezes my arm, her smile soft. "I do. Grandma always said you were the one who got it." Her words steady me, a reminder of why I'm here, not for their approval, but for something bigger. Alone in my guest room, I lock the door and open my iPad. Files spill across the screen. NovaBio's patents, financials, legal defenses James has prepped to counter Edwards' regulatory attack. I trace the numbers: $250 million built from Grandma's small inheritance and years of quiet, relentless work. My cousins spent their shares on flashy startups that crashed. I invested in biotech in the future. Tomorrow I'll reveal it all, not just to save NovaBio, but to save Grandma's headquarters, her vision. I call James, my voice low. "Send the full portfolio. Ownership records, shareholder docs, everything. It's time." He chuckles. "Margaret would be proud." "It's airtight, Amelia. Go get 'em." I stand at the window, the Silicon Valley lights sprawling below like a digital ocean. Their laughter, their schemes, their cruelty, it's all fuel now. They think they're giants, but I've been climbing higher unseen. Tomorrow I'll step into the light and they'll see the truth. The reckoning is coming, and I'm not afraid. The third day of the Harper family conference crackles with tension. The Palo Alto mansion's conference room a stage for my family's relentless showboating. I, Amelia Harper, sit at the polished table, my cracked iPad glowing with the truth I've hidden for years. My cousins Claire Morgan and Nathan Brooks lean back in their chairs, their designer outfits screaming Silicon Valley success. Uncle Edward Harper stands at the head, his voice booming about HarperTech's future, oblivious to the storm I'm about to unleash. They think I'm nothing, a 34-year-old freelancer scraping by in a one-bedroom apartment driving a rusty Honda Accord. They're wrong. Today I'll show them who I really am. Edward claps his hands, his smile tight. Time for personal financial updates. Let's see how we're all contributing to the Harper legacy. Claire goes first, flashing slides of her AI startup's inflated valuation, her voice dripping with pride. Nathan follows, boasting about his blockchain deals, his custom smartwatch glinting as he gestures. When my turn comes, the room shifts, eyes roll, smirks spread. Claire whispers to Nathan, loud enough for me to hear, "What's she gonna show?" A PayPal receipt for her coffee shop gigs. Laughter ripples sharp and cruel. I stand, my heart pounding, but my face calm, and walk to the front, iPad in hand. I tap the screen and a slide lights up the projector. NovaBio, a biotech startup revolutionizing gene editing. This, I say, my voice clear as my contribution. The room goes silent, confusion flickering across their faces. I click to the next slide, financials, patents, contracts with top hospitals. NovaBio is worth $250 million. And I'm its founder. Gasps erupt. Claire's jaw drops, her manicured nails gripping the table. Nathan freezes, his smartwatch forgotten. Edward's face turns gray, his pen clattering to the floor. I keep going, my words steady. "While you were chasing headlines, I built this from Grandma Margaret's inheritance, using her lessons, patience, purpose, impact. Every patent, every deal, I did it my way." I click again, showing a legal document. "And Edward, that regulatory attack you planned on NovaBio, you were targeting me. My lawyer James Patel has our defenses ready. If you push, HarperTech will regret it." The room explodes in chaos. Claire sputters. "This is a joke, right? You can't own NovaBio." Nathan stares, his face pale like he's seeing me for the first time. Sophie Ellis, my only ally, grins wide, her slow clap cutting through the noise. "Well done, Amelia," she says, her voice warm. "Grandma would love this." Edward recovers, his voice sharp. This can't be right. How could you hide this? You're just a freelancer." I meet his gaze, unflinching. "I hid it because I didn't need your approval. I built NovaBio to change lives, not to stroke egos." Claire leans forward, her eyes narrowed. "You're lying. You live in a dump. You drive a junkyard car." I smile, cool and steady. "Choices, Claire. I chose impact over flash, unlike you." The room feels electric, there's shock, a living thing wrapping around us all. I've dropped the first bomb and they're reeling. But I'm not done. Not by a long shot. The conference room in the Palo Alto mansion feels like a pressure cooker, the air thick with shock and disbelief. I, Amelia Harper, stand at the front, my iPad glowing with the truth I've just unleashed. NovaBio, my biotech empire, worth $250 million. My family, Uncle Edward Harper cousins, Claire Morgan and Nathan Brooks, stare at me, their smug masks crumbling. Claire's manicured nails dig into the table. Nathan's face is a mask of stunned silence, and Edward's eyes narrow, calculating. They thought I was nothing, a 34-year-old nobody in a faded blazer driving a beat-up Honda Accord. But I'm not done. The real reckoning starts now. I lock eyes with Nathan, the sting of his old rejection burning fresh. Years ago, he dismissed me, said I wasn't ambitious enough for him. Yesterday, he flaunted his influencer girlfriend to hurt me. Now I step closer, my voice low, steady. You told me I wasn't in your league, Nathan. You said I'd never make it in this world. Look at me now. Who's standing taller? His jaw tightens, his eyes dropping to the floor. No snappy comeback, no smug grin. Just silence heavy with regret. I let it hang, the weight of his mistake sinking in, then turn back to the room, my heart racing but my resolve ironclad. I tap my iPad, pulling up a new document, and the projector flashes with numbers that make the room gasp again. This, I say, is my stake in HarperTech. 30% acquired through anonymous proxies over years. Edward bolts upright, his face draining of color. Impossible. He barks, slamming a fist on the table. I don't flinch. Oh, it's real. While you were busy chasing headlines, I was buying shares piece by piece. I control enough to block your plan to sell Grandma Margaret's headquarters. The room freezes, the reality hitting them like a tidal wave. That building, her legacy, the heart of her vision for tech that serves people, it's safe because of me. Claire leaps to her feet, her voice shrill. You can't just swoop in and take over your nobody. I meet her glare, calm, unyielding. I'm not taking over Claire. I'm saving what you'd destroy. Grandma taught me tech is about impact, not egos. I turn to Edward, his strategist's mask slipping. You want to sell her headquarters for a quick buck? Not on my watch. I'm redirecting HarperTech to her values, innovation for good, not just profit. His mouth opens, then closes, his authority crumbling under the weight of my proof. Sophie Ellis, my cousin and only ally, stands, her applause loud in the stunned silence. Grandma would be so proud, Amelia, she says, her eyes shining. You're the real Harper legacy. Nathan shifts his voice, barely a whisper. Amelia, I was wrong. I cut him off, my tone cold. Save it, Nathan. I don't need your apologies. I needed you to see me and you failed. The room feels alive, electric with the shift in power. Edward tries to rally, his voice weaker now. We can negotiate, Amelia. Work together. I shake my head. We'll work on my terms, Edward. Starting with keeping that headquarters. I step back, my iPad tucked under my arm, the weight of years lifting off my shoulders. They underestimated me, mocked me, but I've rewritten the story. I'm not the poor cousin anymore. I'm the one holding the future, and they'll never forget it. The Palo Alto mansion feels different now, the air lighter, as if the walls themselves exhale after the storm I, Amelia Harper, just unleashed. The conference room, once a stage for my family's arrogance, hums with a new energy shock, grudging respect, and a hint of desperation. My revelation about NovaBio, my $250 million biotech empire, and my 30% stake in HarperTech has flipped the script. Uncle Edward Harper cousins Claire Morgan and Nathan Brooks, they all sit stunned, their smug facades cracked. I'm no longer the 34-year-old nobody in a faded blazer driving a rusty Honda Accord. I'm a force, and they're scrambling to catch up. Edward recovers first, his strategist's mind kicking into gear. He leans forward, his voice smoother now, almost respectful. Amelia, let's talk. Join me for lunch at the club tomorrow. We could collaborate, merge NovaBio's potential with HarperTech's reach. It's an olive branch, but I see the strings attached. He wants my power, not my partnership. I nod, keeping my face neutral. I'll consider it, Edward. But any collaboration follows Grandma Margaret's values, impact over ego. He blinks unaccustomed to being dictated to, but says nothing. For the first time, I hold the upper hand. Claire's approach is less subtle. She corners me later in the mansion's sleek hallway, her designer heels clicking, her smile forced. Amelia, I had no idea you were such a powerhouse. We should grab coffee talk strategy. I mean, we're practically sisters, right? Her sudden warmth is laughable, a transparent pivot from years of sneers about my sad little life. I keep my tone polite, distant. Thanks, Claire, but I'm busy with NovaBio. Maybe another time. Her face tightens, but she backs off, her eyes calculating. She's not sorry, she's just hedging her bets. Nathan's attempt is the hardest to stomach. He finds me in the garden, the jasmine-scented air soft around us. His usual swagger is gone, his eyes downcast. Amelia, I messed up, he says, his voice low. I shouldn't have said those things back then or now. I want to make it right. The memory of his rejection, his cold dismissal when I cared for him, stings. But I'm not that girl anymore. Nathan, you saw what you wanted to see, I say, my voice steady. I don't need your regret. I needed your respect and you couldn't give it. He flinches, nodding, and walks away, his shoulders slumped. It hurts, but it's closure, not defeat. Sophie Ellis, my only true ally, pulls me into a hug as the conference winds down. You were incredible, she says, her eyes bright. Grandma's smiling down on you, I know it. We sit on a bench overlooking the Silicon Valley skyline, and I feel a warmth I haven't in years. Sophie's been there, never judging, always seeing me. We'll rebuild this family's heart together, I tell her, and she nods, her smile fierce. With her by my side, I know I'm not alone. I turn my focus to Grandma Margaret's headquarters, the one Edward wanted to sell. I announce plans to transform it into a non-profit biotech research hub, free for students and startups chasing breakthroughs, not profits. The family murmurs, some impressed, others skeptical, but I don't care. This is what Grandma would have wanted: tech that lifts people up, not just bank accounts. I think about Silicon Valley's obsession with flash, how it blinds people to real value. My family fell for it, but I didn't. I chose substance, and it's paying off in ways they'll never understand. As I pack my things, Lillian Carter, the family's longtime housekeeper, slips into my room with a tray of tea. Miss Amelia, she says, her voice warm. You've done your grandmother proud. She always knew you'd shine. Her words wrap around me like a hug, stronger than any boardroom victory. I'm not just fighting for me, I'm carrying Grandma's torch, and that's worth more than all their stock options combined. The Palo Alto mansion fades behind me as I drive my trusty Honda Accord back to my San Jose apartment, the Silicon Valley skyline, a blur of dreams and ambition. I, Amelia Harper, am 34, no longer the invisible cousin my family mocked. The Harper conference is over, my truth laid bare. NovaBio, my biotech empire worth $250 million, and my stake in HarperTech enough to save Grandma Margaret's headquarters. Edward, Claire, Nathan, they really saw me for the first time. But as the road hums beneath my tires, I realize their eyes don't matter anymore. I'm free, living on my terms, rooted in the values Grandma planted in me. My life stays simple. Same small apartment, same faded blazer, same quiet mornings, sipping coffee over biotech journals. NovaBio grows its gene therapies, saving lives, while the old HarperTech headquarters transforms into a bustling hub for young innovators. Students and startups pour in, chasing breakthroughs without the weight of profit-driven pressure. I walk its halls, sometimes feeling Grandma's presence in the redwood beams, her belief in tech for good alive again. My family's still out there chasing headlines and stock tickers, but I've found peace in purpose, not their applause. Sophie Ellis stays close, my rock through it all. We meet for coffee, plotting ways to keep Grandma's vision alive. The others, Edward, Claire, Nathan, keep their distance, their offers of partnership fading when I hold firm to my principles. I forgive their years of scorn, but I set boundaries, choosing connections that lift me up, not tear me down. Silicon Valley's glitz still tempts, but I'm grounded. My success measured in lives changed, not likes on social media. Grandma's lessons echo every day. Real wealth isn't in what you show, but what you build. I learned to stay patient, to work in the shadows while others flaunted their wins. That quiet grind, that stubborn belief in myself, it's what carried me here. And when the world doubted me, I learned to draw a line, forgive. But don't let toxic voices dim your light. Those truths aren't just mine. They're for anyone who's been underestimated, anyone fighting to be seen. I pull into my parking lot, the Honda's engine ticking as it cools. My iPad sits on the passenger seat, its cracked screen a reminder of the empire I built without fanfare. I smile thinking of Grandma's words, "Amelia, shine, for you, not them." I'm doing that every single day. So what about you? Have you ever been counted out only to prove them wrong? Drop your story in the comments, hit that like button, and let's keep this fire burning. Because the greatest power isn't in shouting your worth, it's in living it unapologetically until the world has no choice but to see.